Had your back on that.
Thank you.
Beat me to the first Division I championship, but I just beat you to having the first household with 2 members in the Hall of Fame.
My golf career wasn't very good.
Gosh, first and foremost, I just need to thank God for the tremendous blessings that He's bestowed upon me. Foremost among them, my family, my beautiful wife, Patty, my son Daniel manning the camera, my daughter Kaylee, who couldn't be here tonight. She's back in North Carolina. You guys are truly the bedrock, the foundation upon which I'm built, and without you, I would crumble for sure. So thank you. Second, I'd like to thank Coach Moon, all of the organizers of this event tonight. I remember the first, and this is a tremendous upgrade. You guys have done a great job. I need to thank the committee, the Hall of Fame committee. I'm incredibly humbled. This is a tremendous honor. I'm also curious. I'm a little curious as to exactly what you were drinking when you collectively decided that I should be in the Hall of Fame. And I wouldn't mind a drink of that right now. But I digress. I need to apologize to you guys. I didn't make any notes, which means I'm going to ramble a little bit. But the other inductees have done a great job of keeping it quick tonight, and I'm told we have this room till midnight. So it shouldn't take quite that long. Might want to get another drink and come back. But my 25 plus years here were incredible. Like I said, I didn't really make notes of what to say tonight. It's kind of tough looking back on your life and putting it onto note cards or onto a sheet of paper. And my time at UNF was my life to this point. I drove onto campus today and looked around at all the wonderful buildings, see how much things have changed over the years. And I tried to remember what it was like when I first stepped foot on campus over 25 years ago. And it's almost impossible to reconcile the two images. Partly thanks to Dr. Herbert and some of the great initiatives and the great buildings that you had a hand in putting up, but it's hard to remember that it's the same place. To begin with, it wasn't easy to get out here. If you were coming from the north, as I was, you couldn't come across the Dames Point Bridge. There was no Dames Point Bridge. You'd have to drive through downtown and come over the Hart Bridge and make this trek out Beach Boulevard. And when you got out here, you turned on St. John's Bluff, which no one used it because it dead-ended at Butler Boulevard. And then there was this little road kind of snaking off into the woods. And it didn't loop around campus or anything. It just kind of swirled its way back through the woods, and it dead-ended right about where Auxiliary Services building is now, where Osprey Hall was later built. Dr. Healy remembers. And there were maybe, 8 buildings on campus? Something like that. Where we're standing tonight was actually mile 3 on our cross-country trail. It was a really bad patch, too. There was sand you had to run through. And, yeah. Right, actually, it's still there. Right over here on the other side of this lake, there's the remnants of a fence. And the gate is still there. And that's the gate we jumped every day to run on what we called Skinners. The Skinners family was one of the, 3 families that, I don't know if they donated or what, but gave some land for the university. And we used to jump that gate every day to do a 10-mile loop on Skinners because Kernan wasn't there. Kernan came much later. It was just forest as far as you could imagine. More than once, we were told by a camouflaged guy in a tree stand, to turn your skinny butts around and head back to North Florida. It's amazing the changes. You know, I look across the street at the mall and everything that's over there. None of that was there. There were sand dunes by Tinseltown. We used to train in them. I know. I hated them. You know, it's just amazing what this place has become. But as I walked into the room tonight, it struck me that it was still the same place. I met all my old friends, my family members, and it really drove home the point that the buildings and the facilities do not make a university and an athletic department. It's the people, all of you, the family that we've been. Dr. Herbert mentioned a lot of the different individuals, and I'm gonna do the same. I'm sorry if it's redundant, but everyone from the coaches and how you support each other, and you supported me early in my career. I've got to be truthful. The first staff meeting I attended, I think Dusty was there and Charlie was there, and Dusty in his first or second year had been to the Collegiate World Series, and I think it was right around the time tennis won a national championship, and I felt so inadequate. All I wanted to do was be good enough that I felt worthy of sitting at the table with these guys. And to have them turn around and support me and my endeavors and mentor me as a young coach, it meant the world. And I've seen that continue through the years. It's fantastic. The support staff. These people don't get the acknowledgement that they deserve and how much they mean to this department. And I mean the people like the trainers, and Valerie mentioned how important they were to her, but also the office staff. One of my favorite memories of UNF is my first day on the job in January of '91. Athletics was housed in a portable building. Dr. Healy probably had an office in that portable building for a while. Yeah. It's right about where the College of Health is now, kind of between there and the parking garage. And it had maybe three offices in it, and a commons area that our administrative assistant, Nancy Tankersley, was there. And my favorite memory, she was showing me around, and she gave me the tour of the spacious complex. And then she said, and I have to walk away for a moment, but she said, and this is where the word processor is. And there was this room that you look in, and there was this machine. I can't tell you how big it was. And she pulled out this disk, and it was like a 10-inch floppy disk. And she goes, there's 10 documents on this. This was pre-Twitter for you youngsters out there. Don't look away. I saw some of you taking pictures of your food tonight. Hashtag hungry. Hashtag. Hell, we thought hashtag was something you played outside with the remnants for breakfast. The supporters. Dr. Herbert named them, like I said. I'm gonna do it again. Starting from the early days. Dave, see you over there, Mr. Polovino, Dottie Dorian, Doug and Linda Harmon. I remember his spot right in the corner in the nest where he always sat. Up through everyone that's had a part in everything we've done as a department. To the present day, Mr. Haight, I was so happy you were here tonight. I don't know where you are, but I was thrilled. can't tell you how thrilled I was, because we know your passion is golf, okay? But to have you at every track meet and to have you know the athletes on our team and to know what they ran and whether it was a good race or a not so good race. And the thing is, I know you do it for every other coach here. I know they all feel the same way. But I can't tell you how much I miss you. And all of you are supporters in all that you do for this program. I'll love you forever. Administrators. You mentioned John Ratliff. I haven't thought of that name, but he hired me. It's been a long time since I've heard that name. And of course, Dr. Gropper, Coach Moon, you yourself. I remember I listened to your explanation of your great vision for this university. And I remember during my stint as game operations director for basketball, because in the early days I wasn't just the track coach. I had to do other things so that I could coach track. And among the jobs I did the travel administration for our various teams on a typewriter, not a computer. There was a year I was marketing director. When I first got to be full-time, I was marketing director, so I got to sell signs on the outfield fence for Dusty. I think he had something to do with getting me fired because I didn't actually sell any. I might have renewed a couple contracts, but I don't think I sold any new ones. But it was at those basketball games. I would rush over from track practice at 5 o'clock and make sure all the ticket takers were at the turnstiles, make sure all of the table workers were at the table and they had everything. And then at halftime, I would actually run some of the promotions, the one where you fly the paper airplane into the circle in the middle of the basketball arena and you get a pizza or something like that. But when all of that was done, our number one fan and his wife, Karen, were always in the stands. And I'd say hi, and he'd say, "Coach, what do you think about getting a track?" I'd say, "Well, it'd be great. Tell me what you can do if you had one." And so I'd say, "Well, we could host this meet, we could host that meet. We could host NCAAs." He goes, "Division II or one?" "One, we can host one." I had no idea, but your vision helped bring about the facility that all of us together were able to build. And I had the supreme good fortune in my final year here to host that NCAA Division I National Championship. And I thought of you, and I thank you for that opportunity. It was a tremendous honor to work hand in hand on the team with everyone that built a lot of what is here at UNF. And is this where I lose it? You know, I'm at a great place now, and albeit a university with slightly lower admission standards for student athletes. It's for you, Dusty. But it'll never be the kind of home that this was for 25 years. And I work with some great individuals, a great team. I get to actually do the fun stuff, coaching athletes. But they'll never be the family that all of you were for me and my family for all of that time. So for that, I thank you, I love you, and I will always be an Osprey.